in 2 weeks shall Messiah be cut off.
Go ahead.
But not for himself.
He died for the sins of the people. This is Jesus that you're reading about. Go ahead and read.
And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary.
Go ahead.
And the end thereof shall be with the flood. And until the end of the war, desolations are determined.
So now he said, guess what? I'm going to tear it up all over again. Let's go. I'm going to let Jesus tell you. You know, since you're a New Testament Christian, I'm going to let him tell you. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Yeah, I don't believe that stuff in the Old Testament. Well, do you believe it in the New Testament? Maybe you don't believe none of it. Because whatever the Old Testament said, that is the same thing that the New Testament says too. So now, the Lord, Daniel didn't say it. The angel that was sent by God told Daniel what's going to happen. And the angel said that, you know, the city going to be rebuilt in troublesome time. But Messiah going to be cut off. Then the people of the prince, they going to come and they going to destroy the city and the sanctuary all over again. Look at what, this is the sanctuary that was standing when Jesus came. Ezra and Nehemiah built it. They like to try to give Herod credit for building, but he didn't build it. He improved upon it, but he didn't build it. Ezra and Nehemiah built it. Now, this is the one that was standing here just before the crucifixion of Jesus here. At this time, it had been standing about 500 years. Start reading at Matthew 24. So, you know, now his disciples going to come to him and show him the building of the temple. Ain't this a pretty temple here? Look what Jesus is going to say about it. Go ahead and read.
And Jesus went out and departed from the temple. And his disciples came to him for to show him the building of the temple.
Go ahead.
And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there should be left here one stone upon another, that should not be thrown down.
So one thing you learn out today too, that wailing wall was not a part of the temple. Because right. Jesus said there would be not one stone left upon another that shall not be thrown down. So now Jesus telling you what was going to happen to that temple. It's going to be destroyed. It's going to be level with the ground. Show you what else he said. Let's go now to Luke chapter 19. And we'll begin reading at verse 28. Because the Lord said, if you mess up Israel, I'm going to tear up your sanctuary, I'm going to tear up your cities, and I'm going to send you into captivity. So now Israel went back. They rebuilt the temple under Ezra and Nehemiah. Now Jesus is saying the temple going to be tore up again. And show you what's going to happen to the city. Let's start reading at Luke 19 and begin at verse 28. Luke 19, verse 28. 19 and 28. Okay, go ahead and read that 28th verse. Then I want you to skip down to verse 41. Go ahead and read.
When he had thus spoken, he went before, ascending up to Jerusalem.
Now this is Jerusalem that he's ascending up to. Just so you'll know what city we are dealing with here. Verse 41 now. Go ahead and read.
And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it.
Now what is this city he beheld and wept over it? It is Jerusalem. Go ahead and read.
Saying, if thou hast known, even thou, at least in this thy day,
go ahead,
the things which belong unto thy peace. But now they are hid from thy eye.
Go ahead.
For the day shall come upon thee, that thy enemy shall cast a trench about thee.
Now he's talking about Jerusalem. He said the day going to come upon you when your enemy going to cast a trench around you. In other words, they're going to have you in the siege. Go ahead and read on.
And can pass thee round.
Go ahead.
And keep thee on every side. And shall lay thee even with the ground.
Wait a minute. Ain't going to lay you even with the ground. So now he already told you they going to tear up the temple, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
Now he's talking about the city here, isn't it? What he say he going to do with that? They going to put a trench around you and they going to lay you even with the ground. And I'm going to show you this is exactly what happened. Go ahead and read on.
And thy children within thee.
And thy children. I'm going to show you what that means too. By thy children within thee. Go ahead and read.
And they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another. Because thou knowest not the time of thy visitation.
Now let's go to Luke chapter 21. Pick it up at verse 20. Then skip down to verse 23. Luke 21. Read verse 20 first. Go ahead and read.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Now this was around 30 A.D. that Jesus is saying this. Skip down to verse 23 now. Go ahead and read.
But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
Go ahead.
For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people.
Now who is this people This people is the Israelites. That's who this people is. Go ahead and read on.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
And they're going to fall by the edge of the sword. Go ahead and read on.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
And they will be what? They will be led away captive into all nations. This is what Jesus is saying now.
Yes,
this is around 30 AD he said that. So now he's letting you know at some point in the future that Jerusalem would be destroyed, the temple would be destroyed, and Israel would be led away captive into all nations, he said, didn't he? No, he didn't say they would migrate, did it? Led away, you know what captive is, don't you? That means somebody going to put some hands on you and carry you somewhere, in case you don't know what captive is. Go ahead and read on. For how long? It's going to tell you. Go ahead and read.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down to the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
In other words, Israel ain't going to be in the land. Another people will be in the land. For how long? Until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And you know when that is? The coming of the Lord. That is when they. So Israel would not be in the land until the Lord returns. Another people going to be there. So that lets you know that ain't Israel in the land there, because Jesus said that Israel would be led away captive. That's another thing, don't it? Not migrate, led away captive into all nations, it said, didn't it? Yes, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Let's go now to and read some of this stuff in history. First, we're going to read something here from the Atlas of the Bible. We didn't publish none of this stuff, y'all. By the way, this one was published by Reader's Digest. I want you to read what's underlined there in red, and then turn on over to the next page. We read from page 201, Atlas of the Bible. Go ahead and read.
The walls enclosing the temple and the upper and lower cities were the most formidable barriers of all. Postponing an all-out assault, Titus turned to starvation tactics. A certain amount of food had been smuggled into the city almost nightly during the siege.
Now, nightly during the siege. Now, what did Jesus say? The enemy going to cast a trench around Jerusalem, didn't it? And keep the end on every side and lay them even with the ground, it said, didn't it? Go ahead and read on.
But now the Romans sealed off Jerusalem completely.
Now, this was around 70 AD. They sealed off Jerusalem with what?
With the wall of their own.
With a wall of their own. Go ahead and read on.
Made of earth and some 5 miles in circumference.
Made of earth? Where'd they get the earth from? A trench. If you dig a trench, ain't you got some earth around it? You understand what I'm saying? When you go and dig a hole, don't you lay the dirt on the side?
Yes, sir.
So, this is happening precisely as Jesus said. Now, this is around 70 AD. Jesus made that prediction in 30 AD. And about 70 AD, it came to pass. Go ahead and read on.
Titus now focused his attention on Antonia, the great fortress Herod had built next to the temple.
Go ahead.
The rams pounded away until on July 24th, Roman troops broke through, driving their foes before them in a close fighting.
Go ahead.
When the great timber gates of the temple withstood the rams, they were set afire. Soon the fighting and the fires raged everywhere within the temple complex. Before long, the temple, one of the wonders of the Roman world, was nothing more than a smoldering ruin.
So what happened with the temple? It's destroyed, right? What happened with the city? Destroyed. What happened with Israel? Captivity. Let's read it. We reading this time from the last 2 million years. I'm bringing this thing all the way down. We getting closer. Now, we done came all the way back from 722 BC. We brought it down to around 5-something AD when Judah got carried out by Babylon. Now we done brought it down to 70 AD. Don't worry, I'm going to bring it all the way down to here. Let's find me page 87 there, brother. When the Lord said that Israel was going to be led away captive, he was going to destroy the city and the sanctuary, he meant it. Now pick it up right there. Go ahead and read.
Faith survived the dispersion. The crucifixion of Jesus about AD 30.
So, just before he was crucified, that's when he said, and they came to him telling him about the temple, and he's telling them, it's going to be laid even with the ground. Then he went on in Luke, he told them how the city was going to be destroyed, the enemy's going to have them in a siege and all of that. Go ahead and read on.
Did not end Jewish resistance to the Romans' occupation.
Go ahead.
In 70, when the country was again in a state of revolt,
Go ahead.
Jerusalem